You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a wanted Missouri man who fled from officers yesterday has been arrested.
Also, arrests have been made in the case of 2 missing Kansas women.
And we've got a bit of a pause in some of the severe thunderstorms across the area, but more are potentially on the way. We're going to look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm not Elise Noe, I'm Anthony Saviello.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'm positive.
It's been a long morning. Anthony, of course, getting called and saying, hey, you're going to need to be up very early in the morning. And then from the Skywatch Storm Tracker or Storm Center side, boy, it's been a busy morning. Like I said, we've got a bit of a lull right now in our activity in terms of severe thunderstorms, but we are not quite out of the woods just yet. Let's start with that look at that Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we've got the tornado watch that's in parts of southeastern Kansas, and that'll continue until 9 o'clock in the morning. And we also have those thunderstorms out there. Now, again, they are not severe, but they are entering an area where they could potentially intensify. So parts of Greenwood County, Elk County, and just into the northwestern fringes of Chautauqua County. So we're going to keep a close eye on these thunderstorms as they continue to lift off to the northeast across the area. Again, they are not severe at this point, but like I said, they're entering an area in which they could intensify. And we did have, earlier this morning, before we went on the air, we had a tornado warning in Greenwood County, a confirmed tornado near Eureka, and confirmed damage just southeast of Eureka. So we're going to keep an eye on that in addition to these thunderstorms out there. And then we're watching northeastern Oklahoma. So as we've mentioned on the KOAM side, we have a cap in place, basically a lid over most of the area. That's why we haven't really seen anything outside of our western counties. If the cap can weaken enough or potentially break as we go through the morning hours, then we could see these little showers turn into more numerous thunderstorms, and our strong to severe thunderstorm threat would ramp back up again. And of course, we've still got to keep an eye on those storms as they continue to lift off to the north and east. So effective at this point forward, this is our day 1 outlook for severe weather. We have that low to elevated tornado risk. We have a low to elevated hail risk and a low wind risk, but as you can see, the threat is shifting further east as this front rolls through the area. The front not bringing significantly colder temperatures behind. In fact, we're still going to be well above average today, but it's bringing some strong winds and it's bringing that threat for severe weather. Wind advisories, Kansas and Missouri until 7 o'clock this evening, so outside of thunderstorms, we could see winds gusting upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour out there. We're sitting at 70 in Joplin and 70 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region, it's already breezy on top of that, well above where they should be, upper 60s and low 70s out there. So as we go through the day, if we see the cap weaken enough, we'll have thunderstorm chances through about the noon hour, 1 o'clock at the latest, and then we'll start to clear out and we'll make the upper 70s and low 80s out there with mostly clear skies and again those gusty south winds. We're having another look at your forecast, and of course we're keeping a close eye on these thunderstorms through the morning. We'll take a look at all that in detail here in just a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, thanks, Chris. The Knoll, Missouri Marshal's Office have arrested a man wanted for felony warrants in Newton County. Authorities say Jordan Jennings was known to be armed with a semi-automatic handgun yesterday. He ran from police chasing him in the area of the Bel Air Apartments in Joplin. He was previously seen on a security camera stealing a vehicle, which has since been recovered. Jennings was apprehended early this morning. A federal judge today sentenced a Neosho Missouri man for his role in a kidnapping conspiracy. 41-year-old James Gibson is sentenced to 30 years in federal prison without parole. Gibson pleaded guilty to his role in a 2020 attempted kidnapping that resulted in the shooting death of the victim. One of Gibson's 5 co-defendants, Lawrence Vaughn of Neosho, was sentenced last year to 25 years in prison. The other 4 have pleaded guilty and are awaiting sentencing. 2 of those, Russell Hurt of Greenwood, Missouri, and Amy Thomas of Webb City, will be sentenced later this week. Sentencing for the other 2, Freddie Tilton and Carla Ward, both of Joplin, has not yet been scheduled. You can read more about this on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Crews continue to clean up following a major train derailment in Wyandotte, Oklahoma over the weekend. Authorities say the incident happened Saturday night. About 20 cars derailed along Main Street and East 153rd Street in Wyandotte. Amazingly, no one was injured. Authorities arrest 4 people in connection with the disappearance of 2 Kansas women who went missing last month while traveling through rural Oklahoma to pick up children. Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly were last seen on March 30th. Their bodies were found this weekend in Texas County, Oklahoma. The 4 suspects have all been charged with murder. Yesterday, the Carthage Chamber of Commerce showed its appreciation for its city employees. The chamber teamed up with Boomer's Barbecue and catered as a way to say thank you to all the departments involved in efforts to get the city open back up for business following the severe storms on April 1st.
I mean, they are quick on the trigger and they get after it, and they're up there and working, and they get it back and going. There's not enough appreciation for what these guys do day in and day out. And I just wanted to show that to them and give back to the community that takes care of me.
The storms on April 1st saw 100-mile-per-hour winds tear through the city square. A Carthage, Missouri restaurant yesterday showed its appreciation for the city's employees. Boomer's Barbecue catered work for the Carthage Chamber of Commerce to host lunch for the employees of all City of Carthage departments. Organizers say, we already ran this story, so we're going to go to what's coming up. Those are your top stories for this half hour. And in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, Carlene Patton shares her recipe for heart-healthy nachos. Plus, and later, a heartfelt reunion between soldiers and their families. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Get ready for an off-road adventure with the mud.
They're always appreciated and treated like family.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Again, our good friend Charlene Patton from Topeka joining us for another exciting segment. You're making some healthy nachos, but there's a special book we wanted to talk about real quick that you all have out now.
That's right. It's the 2024 edition of the Soy Foods Guide. And gosh, it's 35 pages, it's 4-color, has all kinds of recipes in it and healthy information about why you should include soy in your diet. So when they call to get the recipes this month, ask for the new Soy Foods booklet and they'll send that to you as well.
Excellent. So a nice little tool to have in your kitchen when you're wanting to make something healthy, and we've got something amazing to make right now.
That's right. This is one of the featured recipes in that new guide, and it is a healthy nacho, and it uses textured vegetable protein, black soybeans, and we're going to combine those into making a great nacho. I'll show you what I've done here. And with the textured vegetable protein, that's what we have on display over here. It is really a high protein boost that you can give to a lot of your recipes.
Okay.
And what I did was cook that with a half a cup of the soy protein with 1/4 cup of water and then a little bit of taco seasoning. And so it's going to take on the flavor of that. You could also use broth if you wanted to. And then I sauteed onions and garlic and then stirred in that textured vegetable protein, and then you'll see we have some black soybeans in there.
Okay.
And soybeans are another reason why you should add those and use those in your tacos, because they really do add a lot of protein too. Put that on your taco shells, and then we're going to put, well, let's do the cheese sauce so I can tell you. Now, rather than, we made this cheese sauce, and this is with a tablespoon of flour and a tablespoon, I used margarine or soy product. And then what you would do then is then add 1.5 cups of plain soy milk to this.
Okay.
And then I added 1 cup of cheddar cheese. So that made our sauce. And then while in the oven, I had a jalapeno pepper that was roasted. And then I peeled that off, the skin off of it, and chopped it very fine and added to that. So we've really made our own nacho cheese sauce.
Yeah, we have.
And made a healthy version of it. Also in the oven, well, I'm going to go ahead and add the lettuce. I like to put the corn on last, but add the lettuce. And then at your house, you probably have some other condiments that you like to add. So if you want to put salsa on here now, if you want to put chopped tomatoes, salsa, whatever you want to do. But the other part of this recipe, this is crispy corn. And I took corn, it could be from the can or frozen, or you could use fresh corn. Put that on a baking sheet with taco seasoning again, and with some salt and pepper, and roast it until it's crispy. Look at that. And that's going to add another element of wonderful flavor to our nachos. And there you have it. Look at that.
Just an amazing, simple, easy to make, healthy nacho.
A healthy nacho. That's the key for National Soy Foods Month, and uses several soy ingredients.
And a lot of people, you think nachos, you don't always associate healthy with them.
Yes.
So this is a great way to still get your nachos and do so in a great way.
That's right.
All right. And of course, Charlene, if they want this recipe or any of the others, what do they need to do?
They should call our 800 number, 877-KS Soybean, or you can also go to our website at kansassoybeans.org.
All right, Charlene, thank you so much again for joining us. And of course, we'll have this on our website as well at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Teeth are amazing. Dental implants. Think again.
Go ahead and smile.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:15 now on this Tuesday morning. Again, we got a bit of a lull in the severe weather across the area, but we still have some thunderstorms across parts of Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties into southeastern Kansas. These have been lifting off to the northeast, but as that cold front slides a little further east, it's starting to push them a little more easterly. And we do have that tornado watch for parts of southeast Kansas that continues until 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to continue to watch these storms because, again, they're entering an area it's a little more favorable for them to have the potential to intensify and possibly become severe. So, again, at this point, they are not, but we will continue to monitor those storms as they roll through. And we have numerous showers out there, just little weak specks of rain, not doing much because we have a cap in place across most of the area, and that's why we haven't seen a lot. Or even earlier this morning, we had some showers, even a couple of thunderstorms that tried to get going on the Missouri side, and they just fizzled out because that cap is a lid. It's stopping thunderstorms from intensifying. And that's also part of why these aren't intensifying as quickly as their friends did this morning. And again, we had that tornado warning in Greenwood County. We did have a confirmed tornado near Eureka that did some damage out there. So we're watching that. We're watching these storms. But as you can see, they went from moving northeast, but that cold front is starting to push them a little more easterly across the area. If the cap can weaken enough today, we'll have additional strong to severe thunderstorms through the morning hours. And that's what we've got to watch very carefully. That cap is the hardest thing to track. And if it doesn't weaken, we'll get some showers at best. If it does, it's a different story. What we do have for sure is these wind advisories, Kansas and most of southwest Missouri through 7 this evening, because outside of any thunderstorms, we're looking at southerly wind gusts pushing upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour. As it stands right now, though, we still have that potential for severe weather through the morning hours. So we do have a low to elevated tornado risk, low to elevated hail risk, and a low wind risk. But you can see as well, this is for the rest of this morning, the threat is shifting to the east. But again, this is all highly dependent on the cap and whether or not it can weaken or break as we go through the morning. If it does, we'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, potentially severe. If it doesn't, we might get some rain, but that'll be the most of it. Here's a look at another explanation of that cap. So it's basically a lid on the atmosphere. So what happens is we, at this point, for us at least, we have the instability, we have the fuel for storms at the surface, but the cap is stopping thunderstorms that are developing from being able to intensify. That's why they're fizzling out. Out west, it's been a different story through the morning hours. The cap is a little weaker, and therefore the thunderstorms have been able, they've got the energy down here, they've been able to get through and intensify and tap into more energy, and that's why we've had some strong to severe thunderstorms out to our west. Right now in Joplin, it is cloudy. It is very cloudy out there this morning, 70 degrees. Here's the energy we're talking about. Dew point is 61, humidity is 73%. It's a pretty muggy start for April. South breeze at 26, still gusting close to 40 miles an hour out there, so we've got those gusty winds. There's that cold front. Again, it's not bringing significantly cold temperatures to us, but it is bringing the thunderstorm threat. So we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of hours as we go through the morning with these storms. Temperatures upper 60s, low 70s, so a very warm start for us across the area. We're still looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go through the morning, and about 71 by 11. And again, if the camp weakens enough, we could see a few lingering storms, maybe as late as 1 o'clock. If not, we're looking at these storms wrapping up about noon, and we'll start to clear out pretty quickly behind this front. But again, this front not bringing significantly cold weather, so our highs still above average, upper 70s and low 80s out there, and of course quite breezy. Now we'll still have some gusty winds overnight, but they won't be nearly as gusty as they will be through the daytime hours. So still breezy, but calmer, and still fairly mild overnight as we go back into the upper 50s and low 60s for our lows. And this isn't the only thunderstorm threat we have this week. We're keeping an eye on Thursday. So between now and then, 80s all the way up to Thursday, our Wednesday, by the way, looking fantastic out there. By Thursday, another cold front, this one a bit more significant, will bring additional thunderstorm chances. Some of those could be strong, possibly severe, but the big thing it's going to do for sure is drop our temperatures. In fact, we may even go below average as we head into Saturday with a few more showers out there. We'll start to turn around and warm back up as we head into next week, and then we'll see additional shower and thunderstorm chances out there as we head into the next work week as well. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like that at this point, but we'll continue to monitor those storms out west and bring you the latest as it comes in, and we'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Way 1010C on the Oklahoma-Missouri border. TheOutpostCasino.com for promotional details.
Well, kids in military families put their drawing and coloring skills to work to welcome home their parents after a 6-month mission overseas.
Fox's Doreen DeBrule at Hill Air Force Base in Utah has the story.
Like most girls their age,
I'm 10. I'm 7.
Evelyn and Emma Lemon love to draw.
I'm going to do polka dots.
But Sunday morning, they weren't just doodling hearts and stars.
Mommy's going to like that.
They were making a welcome home sign for their dad.
Are you going to write Dad in the middle?
Can I write Dad? You write Dad.
For almost 6 months, Emma and Evelyn's dad was deployed in Japan, along with around 300 other airmen from Hill Air Force Base's 388th and 419th Fighter Wings.
They worked with our partners and allies to deter any kind of instability that could happen in the Pacific region.
Sunday morning was the big day. How excited are you to see him?
Pretty excited.
The day dozens of families and friends were reunited with their airmen.
It is awesome. Glad to have him back home. We missed them.
6 months. Although the past 6 months there were special days and memories missed.
This kid was so small. All of them were so small.
I mean, he missed his first birthday.
The hugs, tears, and signs Sunday are just an example of the saying, distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Did you like your sign?
Oh, it's an awesome sign.
At Hill Air Force Base, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Certainly a very special project for those kids and for their parents to come home to. I'm sure they were excited not just to see the kids, but to see those cool drawings.
That's some of my favorite videos online is homecoming videos of dads, moms, parents coming home and seeing their kids. After
It always gets you just right there.
Absolutely. Right there. Absolutely. Well, coming up, Samantha Walker explains why we need to be on the lookout for fake solar salesmen.
And we're continuing to track those thunderstorm chances across the area on this cloudy and windy day. We're going to look at your forecast when we come back.
Of local produce. Supporting local farmers one purchase at a time. Join us at Webb City Farmers Market, where fresh meat's friendly.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Anthony Saviello. The threat of severe weather is moving through our area right now. Let's head on over to Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're continuing to track thunderstorms across the area. The good news at this point, no severe weather actively taking place. We still have a tornado watch for portions of southeastern Kansas that continues through 9 a.m. It's this line of storms that we are continuing to monitor. It is not severe at this point. And as you can see, other than just a few lightning strikes here and there, not a lot of lightning activity with these storms at this point, but they are entering an atmosphere that could allow them to intensify. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. And then we're continuing to monitor northeastern Oklahoma. Now, I know there's not much out there right now, but the expectation is, and this is the tough part, is the cap that's in place. I know you've heard me say it 100 times, but it's an essential part of our severe weather setup for today. We have that lid in place, and if it doesn't go away or doesn't weaken, we'll get some showers, but that's going to be it. But the expectation is, the latest updates from the National Weather Service office in Tulsa, is the cap will weaken enough that we'll start to get more thunderstorm development across northeastern Oklahoma, and the atmosphere will be prime enough for them to become strong, potentially severe, and they'll roll off to the east-northeast as well. So that's going to be in the next hour or two. We're just going to have to keep watching this and just kind of sit on it, keep an eye on it, and monitor it. Because this morning, again, we began with a severe thunderstorm warning, then what turned into a tornado warning in Greenwood County, and did spawn a tornado near Eureka, leading to damage near Eureka as well. Now we've got just these thunderstorms out there, but as you can see, they're starting to take a slightly more easterly track. That's as the cold front, which is a little further west, starts to shove this line off to the east. So we'll have to see how the cold front and everything interacts with what we've got and how it affects the cap across the area to determine what we're going to see for the rest of the day. As it stands, though, we have that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. So we have a low to slightly elevated tornado threat, the low to elevated hail risk, and a low wind risk across the area. But as you can see, this is associated with that front and that system shifting to the east, so the threat shifting to the east. We also have wind advisories out there for southeast Kansas and into southwest Missouri through 7 a.m., and that is because we could see south winds gusting upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour. Showers and storms still appear possible at least through about noon, and then they'll begin to clear out. And after they clear out, the sun shines out there. We get warm. We're breezy. Highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. We'll continue to track these thunderstorms and keep you updated on any other developments and have a look at your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, Chris, thanks. KOEM is proud to announce the next Great American Flag Swap takes place today. If you have an old and tattered flag, bring it down to the Arvest Bank in Miami and swap it for a brand new one. Old flags will see a proper disposal. The event starts at noon. The Sunflower State plans to go orange this week to raise awareness for work zone safety. Buildings, bridges, and fountains will be lit in orange, and people will also wear orange. The week-long observation is to remind motorists that slowing down, staying alert, minimizing distractions, and being patient in roadway work zones can mean the difference between life and death. Message signs across the state will also promote work zone safety. Some good news for the Weir Public Library in Kansas. Yesterday, the library received national certification as a family place library. This will transform the library into an early learning center for very young children, their parents, and caregivers. The certification comes in part from a grant from the Kansas Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund, which allowed the library's director to complete the necessary training and requirements. Weir is the second library in the region to complete this certification. If you've been wondering where the best place to find food in Joplin is, then you don't have to wonder no more. This Friday, 6 of Joplin's restaurants will be featured on the Food Network's new show, Best Bite in Town. The premise of the show is to cover the entire food scene, choose the best from different categories, and then bring them together to find out who has the best cuisine. 6 Joplin restaurants will be competing this Friday. There are Big R's Barbecue, Blackstone Gastropub, Finn's Ghetto Tacos, Han the Sushi Man, and Hungry Monkey. Best Bite in Town will air this Friday at 8 p.m. Electric companies are warning the public about suspicious individuals falsely claiming to work for them. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us more about who may be knocking on your door.
Both Newmac Electric and Carthage Water and Electric plants say they have received numerous reports in recent days of people going door to door identifying as electric workers. Witnesses say the suspicious persons often say they are trying to sell solar panels.
It's concerning when people are going around saying that they're with NewMac when we're not affiliated with a solar company in any way, because they're stating that they might get a better deal on their electric bill or they won't have to have any rates in the future, and that's just not the case.
Officials at NewMac Electric say they believe the individual is trying to actually sell solar installation, but they may not be reputable. They say electric companies such as NewMac do not endorse a specific solar business in that way. But authorities warn that a person willing to lie about their identity might be up to something else.
Well, if they're misrepresenting, they may be using that for a ruse to get in to see what those people might have, where they could come back and break in later or steal something while they're there.
The Newton County Sheriff's Department says NewMac Electric has been keeping them in the loop about customer reports. They say the best thing you can do if you see something suspicious is call.
If citizens see something suspicious, don't hesitate to call. I mean, that is what we're here for. We'd be more than happy to come out and check it out. That is what we're here for, is to serve the citizens, and they're our eyes and ears, and they see stuff more than we do. And we'd be more than happy to check it out. And it is not a bother. We would be more than happy to serve the citizens that way.
NewMac Electric says employees at companies like theirs should be wearing a uniform or a logoed shirt, have a NewMac vehicle, or be able to provide a work ID. Reporting in Newton County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
NewMac Electric asks that if you call their office, if you encounter a suspicious person claiming to be a company worker. As a look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Paris is wrapping up preparations for the Olympic Games later this year. We will see how France is increasing their security measures to ensure that everyone stays safe.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any travel.
Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
In Consumer Watch this morning, some Verizon customers are receiving a payout from a recent settlement. The wireless company will pay some account holders from January 2016 through early November 2023 as part of a settlement for $100 million. The lawsuit claimed Verizon falsely advertised services at lower monthly rates than it actually charged customers. Settlement amounts are up to $100 and will vary based on how many months and users was subject to the charge. Americans were spending money last month. Retail sales rose for a second straight month in March, up 0.7%. That's more than twice the estimate and up 4% from a year ago. And it wasn't just in stores. Non-store retailers, which includes online shopping, saw sales up to 2.7% from February. Spending on food services and drinking establishments rose 0.4%. Excluding autos, the monthly increase was 1.1%. Fewer people are buying rooftop solar panels for their homes. Turns out there's a dark cloud hanging over rooftop solar panels. The industry is shrinking, hit by high interest rates, tight credit, and cuts to solar incentives. The amount of solar power U.S. homeowners install this year could shrink by 13%. More than 100 solar contractors have already gone out of business during the past year as demand has dried up. Mortgage rates are on the rise, but some say this could still be the best time for homeowners to sell. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has more.
Sellers have been on the sidelines for 2 years, according to Realtor.com, many waiting for those mortgage rates to fall. But more and more homeowners are feeling the pressure of retirement or a need to downsize or other personal factors. Now, while 50% say they plan to wait out rates, 29% say they need to sell soon for personal reasons. To be sure, sellers are getting more realistic. Just 15% say they expect a bidding war, down from 31% in 2023. Considering listing prices, number of buyers per listing, and seasonal factors like school and vacation schedules, Realtor.com says this week will be the best of 2024 to sell a home.
It's got the most favorable balance of all of these factors for sellers. It suggests they'll be able to sell quickly at a good price and be happy with the outcome.
Importantly, the analysis doesn't consider mortgage rates, which have been on the rise, a big factor for sellers buying a new home as they sell their old one. Freddie Mac's weekly survey showing rates approaching 7% at 6.88%. Bottom line, more sellers throwing in the towel on their wait for lower rates, which could lead to more robust inventory, something buyers have been waiting for. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
And those are your top Consumer Watch stories this morning. Let's take a look at market prices before the opening bell.
Bad boy mowers are built for the renegades.
A hotel in Wyandotte, Oklahoma.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:42 on this Tuesday morning, and we have been dealing with strong and severe thunderstorms. We've had a pause in severe weather. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning just outside of our area near Emporia up there, and that's because, as we mentioned, this line of storms here beginning to enter an area. It's a little more favorable for them to potentially intensify. So again, no warnings in our immediate area associated with this activity, but it does have that possibility, so we're going to be watching it very closely out there. We still have that tornado watch for parts of southeastern Kansas, and that will continue until 9 o'clock this morning across the area. So we're going to continue to watch that, and we're still watching potential development across northeastern Oklahoma. As we go through the morning, the expectation still is at this point that the cap that's in place across the area will begin to weaken just enough to allow either this activity to continue intensifying or additional thunderstorm development to take place across northeastern Oklahoma. If that happens, then we could potentially have another round of strong to severe thunderstorms out there, but it's all contingent on that cap. Now again, model data suggests it'll weaken just enough through the morning. It may not. If it doesn't, then this is going to be the worst we deal with, and then we'll be dealing with showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms across the area as we go through the morning hours. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on this as we go through the morning. On top of that, we have wind advisories all of southeast Kansas, the majority of southwestern Missouri, and these run until 7 o'clock this evening. We could see southerly winds gusting as high as 40 to 50 miles an hour, and that's outside of any thunderstorm activity we may see. As it stands right now, we still have that low to, this update's at 8 a.m. Sometimes it's early. It just updated. As you watched it happen, the severe threat's been backed up a little bit, and we now have a low to elevated tornado risk across a broader portion of the area, and same with that low to elevated hail risk. That's never happened before live, but you just watched this new update come down. So obviously, we're not quite done with the severe threat as of yet, as we're expecting additional development through the morning. I know I showed you the Skywatch Storm Tracker. It doesn't look like a lot right now, but apparently it's enough that our friends in Norman at the Storm Prediction Center believe we're not out of the woods just yet. We'll have to continue to monitor this. So we'll have to watch what happens with thunderstorm development over the next hour or so, and we'll be right here in the Skywatch Storm Tracker keeping an eye on it. What's been inhibiting the thunderstorm development for most of the area so far has been this cap that's in place. And basically what it is we've got gasoline down here at the surface. We've got the instability, but we have this lid on top. So any match that gets struck is dropped onto that lid. It flares up for a moment as a shower or even a weak thunderstorm, and then it dies out because it can't get through that cap. The match can't get down here and help these thunderstorms intensify. What's happened out west, though, is the cap is weakened enough that we've been dealing with strong to severe thunderstorms, so they've been able to punch through. That match has gotten lit and has fallen through an opening in that lid and set off some of those stronger storms that we had this morning, which did include, again, a confirmed tornado near Eureka that did do some damage out there. So the cap is expected to weaken across the whole area, and as you just saw in that severe weather update, we're not out of the woods yet. They're still having that same expectation. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on this activity as we go through the morning hours. Right now, Joplin, though, it is 70. Dew point up there 61, humidity at 73%, a muggy start to the day, and very breezy. Winds already gusting close to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures around the area, again, well above normal out there. We have the fuel for these storms. We just have to have that cap weaken, and then that's when we'll see potentially more robust thunderstorm development across the area. We're sitting upper 60s, low 70s. So again, as we go through the morning, we're going to have to keep a close eye on these storms between now and I'd say about noon today, and see what happens as that cold front rolls in from the west. Now, the cold front itself is not going to bring us significantly colder temperatures, at least not this one. It's just bringing us that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. Once we head into the afternoon, we start to clear out. We're still breezy and we're still warm, well above average, upper 70s, low 80s. We head into this evening. We'll still be breezy through the evening and overnight, but the winds will be a lot calmer comparatively to this afternoon. We're still seeing gusts maybe 15, 20, maybe 25 miles an hour out there as we go through the overnight, but nothing like what we're expecting today. Lows into the upper 50s and low 60s out there. Nice day Wednesday, 80s again Thursday. This is another cold front. This one is going to bring us considerably cooler temperatures heading into the weekend and could also bring us potentially another round of strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll cool back through the weekend, warm up next week, and we'll have another chance for some showers and thunderstorms as we head into the next work week. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Kansas Cup Series from Talladega, Sunday on Fox.
With about 100 days until the Paris Summer Olympics kick off, construction crews in France are busy putting the remaining touches on many of the facilities.
But with the clock ticking down until the July 26th start date, officials are also beefing up security plans.
Fox News' Sean Langell takes a closer look at the concerns authorities are citing as the excitement surrounding the games grows.
The countdown to the Paris Summer Olympics continues ticking away. As excitement builds, we're getting a closer look at some of the new sporting facilities like this aquatic center. This as workers press on with construction of a never-before-seen purple Olympic track.
More than 1,000 rolls will be laid. 1,800 pots of glue will be spread by hand over a month's work.
Meanwhile, many iconic British landmarks are serving as the backdrop for some of the other events, with beach volleyball matches set to take place in a stadium near the foot of the Eiffel Tower, and the Park of the Palace of Versailles hosting equestrian competitions. But with global tensions rising in the midst of the ongoing Israel-Hamas war and the war between Russia and Ukraine, French officials say they are ready for heightened security risks.
France has never deployed so many resources for security before. I have confidence in the law enforcement forces in our country to secure these games.
Citing last month's deadly terror attack at a concert hall in Moscow as cause for concern.
All the security measures that were implemented for these Paris Games were at the maximum level, so there is an unprecedented security operation.
France currently plans to host the Olympic opening ceremony along the river Seine. But as preparations and rehearsals continue, leaders say they have alternative plans, including moving that event indoors if security threats become too severe. Sean Langell, Fox News.
Certainly a lot of precautions that have to be taken out there. Should be very exciting, though.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for the Olympics this year. I think it'll be a great year for the Olympics.
I think it certainly will. And boy, we are continuing to track that potential for strong to severe thunderstorms out there. Let's look at Skywatch Storm Tracker first. And we actually have a lull in severe activity in our immediate area. We still have the tornado watch into parts of southeastern Kansas. This line of storms is what we're watching. Nothing severe along this line at this point, but it's entering an atmosphere that is primed for it to potentially intensify. So we have to keep a very close eye on this. So from Burlington, Yates Center, just outside of Fredonia, and another cell getting ready to roll into Sedan. These storms getting ready to roll in. Again, they're not severe, but we'll have to keep an eye on them. And then we have that potential for additional development to take place somewhere across northeastern Oklahoma in the next hour or so. And that activity could potentially be strong to severe as well. So it's something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. Again, a lot of it's dependent on that cap that's in place. But as you saw earlier, this updated live on the air, we still have a more widespread low to elevated risk for tornadoes, low to elevated hail risk across the area, and that expanded low wind risk. So we'll keep an eye on these storms through the morning for you and keep you updated as we head through the morning hours as well. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome to Miss Daisy's, where style meets comfort. Step in.
Medals. We are proud to salute Brandon Lewis, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities in Knoll, Missouri have arrested Jordan Michael Jennings. Jennings was wanted on felony warrants in Newton County. Yesterday, he ran from police chasing him in the area of Bel Air Apartments in Joplin. He was previously seen on a security camera stealing a vehicle, which has since been recovered. Jennings was apprehended early this morning. A federal judge has sentenced 41-year-old James Gibson to 30 years in federal prison without parole for his role in a kidnapping conspiracy. Gibson pleaded guilty to his role in a 2020 attempted kidnapping that resulted in the shooting death of the victim. Gibson is the second of 6 defendants who have been sentenced. 2 more will receive their sentences later this week. KOAM is proud to announce the next Great American Flag Swap takes place today. If you have an old and tattered flag, bring it down to the Arvest Bank in Miami and swap it for a brand new one. Old flags will see a proper disposal. The event starts at noon.
All right, we're continuing to track thunderstorms across the area. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings or any severe warnings of any type in our area at this time, but we're continuing to closely monitor these storms as we go through the morning. We still have that tornado watch through 9 o'clock for parts of southeastern Kansas as well, but these storms could intensify as we go through the morning. And on top of that, we could see additional strong to severe thunderstorm development over the next few hours as well. Otherwise, we'll clear out by this afternoon, looking at going into the upper 70s, low 80s. We have south winds gusting 40, 50 miles an hour out there, so do keep that in mind. 80s tomorrow, 80s Thursday, a stronger cold front, more storms, and cooling down as we head into the weekend. But a lot to track this morning.
Thanks for keeping an eye on those, Chris. The legendary Gardens of Ninfa has revealed its full majesty. All the elements that make the Gardens of Ninfa are often described as the most romantic garden in the world.
The city of Ninfa dates its roots to Roman times as a small agricultural center. The garden itself began in 1921 when Italian nobleman and diplomat Galeazzo Catini restored some ruins, including the tower and the town hall, and started on the garden planting botanical species that he collected from abroad during his travels. Certainly an impressive garden out there. So if you're ever, able to take a trip to Italy, go check it out.
As an Italian, I would like to do that.
Okay,
one day.
well, you should possibly do that.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll continue to track these storms through the morning and be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.